And the live.
Are you going live? That's what it is. But it's. Worse, and this should put on with all the QS, much better for the just for those. What is this? It's it's so far. I don't think I thought about that. So.
We get anybody back on our stuff yet for our RFPs? We got any candidates?
Tom, you're jumping the gun.
I know. No.
Gun jumper. We got a gun jumper over here.
You know, it's exciting.
Let me put my glasses on so I can see what's going on. Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Daniel? Wow. All right.
Okay. We're going to bring the Poughkeepsie Joint Water Board March 2nd meeting to start. The first note on the agenda is public participation. Yes.
Thank you. Just an update. At the last month's meeting, I had asked about the 2024 audit status. Does we had an update on that? And subsequently, Dottie told me that the board and she received the audit in the beginning of December and has since been posted on the website. So is anybody interested? The audit is out there and should have had it for a couple months now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Approval of the February 2nd meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That's a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Daniel say.
Yeah, aye.
4 to 0. Okay, thank you. Okay, plant status report. Dottie?
Okay, so, first, before I go through the status report, I just wanted to mention that, in April 14th through the 16th is the, annual AWWA conference at the Saratoga. It's something that, we attend. They have an operators day on Wednesday, and we often give our operators and maintenance staff the opportunity to go up that day.
Okay.
It's a great networking, educational session. So I just need to, I guess, get approval for myself as well, since I think that goes through the board. But it would be a night that I will stay up there for 2 reasons.
For the record, somebody will still be here operating the plant.
Yes, somebody will still be here operating the plant.
Very good.
So yes, and not the entire staff, though, it's just whoever is interested, and we work that out. So that's but I plan on attending at least 2 days of the conference.
Do we need a motion for approval?
It's safe to do it that way.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Passes 4 to 0. Enjoy yourself. Learn lots of stuff.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so on to the status report. Ultimately, February was a good month. The plant operated normally. We're still around the same amount of production from prior February's, the report was made, before the end of the month, so, the totals there are not completely accurate. We do have a little bit more, so they're right around the same. There were a lot of water main breaks, in the past couple of months, so I'm not surprised that our water, productions is high. Overall, we're still meeting communities, everything's fine. We had staff here during the snowstorm, making sure that everything is clean and running. And we did have a delivery of liquid oxygen that day, the most recent one, which is a little bit of a touchy, scary thing since the liquid oxygen, there's a lot of hazards with the delivery in itself. We often have an issue with the Marist Hill being plowed sufficiently. So we were able to make sure that that occurred safely. Some of the other work that we did this past month was rewiring sensors for the level sensors in the basins, as well as demolishing and re-feeding lines for new chemical flow meters. We're scheduled now because of some of the weather issues we've had this past winter, to re-tap those transformers on March 24th. That's pretty much it.
I was gonna fill my pool with liquid oxygen so I could breathe underwater. I couldn't help it. Math joke. Stupid engineering joke, more like it. Okay, budget status.
Budget status so far, we're good. We're about 15% completed with the year, and at this point, 11% within our
Right.
things. Karen's here joining us today from the city just to bring up the capital budget. One thing I'd like to make sure I stress to the board is, especially as we move forward with the IMA reevaluation and stuff, that we truly identify what the process is for our capital planning. So we had a little bit of a just I don't know, just some items that should have been on the capital budget, and for various reasons we just need to finesse things this year to make that happen. So I don't know, Karen, you'd like to mention anything here, or
I think we'll overall review the whole process,
Okay.
With regards to the capital and what was considered capital, what maybe should be an operating. And I think we're gonna work on that, probably within the next few weeks.
Was there anything that was funded? Any issues there with that or no?
With regard, there's no issues with any EFC funding,
I'm just
things
saying,
like that.
It's on a capital plan, doesn't mean that it's funded.
Exactly,
Right.
right,
this is
yeah.
one of the problems, is what we had what we were thinking was a capital plan or a capital budget is really not available. So items were taken out of our operating budget and put on that list when really they probably should have maintained and kept in our operating budget.
Yeah.
But there's just misunderstanding of how that gets funded. So landing on something coming up with a plan that we can continually follow would be very beneficial.
Okay, so you guys gonna work it out? You know?
Yeah, I do have a couple of quick questions. Chris, I mean, we can talk about it later. Chris Shaw called me actually just before I came over here, so.
Yeah. Great.
Anything we have to do? Let us know.
Okay, I just wanted to really just make sure that the board was aware that
Are you like the town of Poughkeepsie? You've never had a capital plan? Or did you used to have a capital plan at the drug one?
We've had a capital plan. I think it was just a little bit of some transitioning and some, is it really considered capital or is it really considered operating? Unfortunately, here at the plant, things can be a very large expense, but it's still really operating, even though it might be, 20,000, 30,000, and you think like, oh, that must be capital. It really might be a repair that's really operating and not necessarily capital in that sense. So,
Sometimes when you have to like replace the tank, that would probably be capital.
yes,
Even
yeah,
though it's a
Yeah.
repair,
yeah.
you're putting all new stuff in, so it would be capital, but I understand why that confusion.
Yeah, depending on what it is, yeah.
So are we gonna move to that topic or am I jumping the gun?
For the TSST.
Yeah.
So that is, under the engineering update. So, but if you want to talk about funding for it,
Well, that,
we can discuss that, I guess.
well, we were
Yeah.
so we were emailing about the funding for it.
Mhm.
And one of, I think the comments that had been made was,
What's the project? I'm sorry.
so this happened, I think the most recent update might have happened when I was last year, there's the thick and sludge storage tank.
Okay.
And there was a whole report written about it and we put it on the IUP list. And then because of the very important facilities report.
Yep.
Dottie staff came up with another approach, which was let's coat the tank and get more years out of it. And so for a very, very, very large discount compared to replacing the tank, there was a quote,
Like that.
$100,000 for coating the tank that will last for quite a long while.
Mhm.
And so it was agreed to put it into this year's capital budget. So it's out. And recently that came up for the city and it was pointed out, we need to make sure the town's aware that that tank coating is going to happen and do whatever necessary activities the town needs to do, similar to what the city. was doing.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm
That's
just,
done at the town level.
So we need to, so now that Karen and I have been in communication about what's happening with the capital budget and what our plan is, we'll a discussion with Vinal will be next.
Right.
To
Yeah.
make sure that the town is aware. They did receive the same Excel file spreadsheet that we've been using to plan our capital budgets, so for capital plan and so they've been aware of it while they were planning it. So I think they should be aware at least that these are the things that we were funding or planning to do this year. We'll discuss that. So, and as far as the TSST tank goes, Joe had said that there's additional roof work that needs to get done, so that project is not just 100,000, it's probably gonna be more like 115,000. Since we have to do some of that work, which is not included.
And the roof is specific to the tank, correct?
Yes,
Okay, because I was trying to explain this, well, just before I came here, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's related. It's not like the roof just needs to get repaired. It's, whether it's, you gotta pull the tank out or whatever happens, I don't know.
the roof is on part of the tank, I mean.
Okay, the roof's part of the tank,
It's
that's
part
fine.
of the, yeah, so it's,
Just need to update us what the hard numbers are.
so,
That way, like, what the town is responsible for, so that way we can make sure we all
right.
plans for that.
So that'll be the next conversation. Since everything gets administered through the city, we need to make sure that the city is ready first and then communicate with the town.
And let me know what I gotta do, because I'm in there all day, so I can,
Yeah.
Any action by the board?
Nope, it was just to make you aware.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Board reorganization.
Yeah, so it's time, I guess, to elect a new chairperson and vice chair and secretary, so. To the nominations for chairperson.
I nominate Tom.
But you do so good at it.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. That's a 5-0. Tom, take it over.
Okay, so since Tom is the chairperson, we need somebody from the town to be the vice chair. Oh,
City.
I'm sorry, for the city.
Hey, Chris. I'll be absent every Monday, first Monday of every month now.
Yeah,
His Tom is always here.
I know.
Oh, did you just nominate?
Yes, I did.
Now you have to call for a second, you're the chair.
Can I get a second? Sorry. See, I'm not used to this. That's why you gotta stay right there.
Absolutely.
Since no one else is gonna second it, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It stays.
Okay, So secretary. Very minimal role
Barbara, you want it?
here and there. Okay.
You want it?
You just sure.
I nominate Barbara.
I second that. All in favor?
Okay. Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
Okay.
Mine takes, he gets to leave this whole meeting. Start out fresh next.
You want me, oh, you want to start fresh next?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna be in the groove.
Okay, engineering update.
Okay, so we've already talked about the TSST tank. Erin was just filling us in about the filter project that we.
So the under drain project has been submitted to the Department of Health. Both the Dutchess County and the state, they're well aware of the project. And we anticipate them to be reviewing it for probably 2 months. So that is what it is. Which is good because that gives us time to close with EFC. So I had asked for an update from EFC, from Robert Armitage before coming here and got back to me. So we have a few things they're looking for that I'll distribute tomorrow morning, but nothing big, just. They want
The
to know.
process is moving along,
Yeah.
so to say.
Yeah, and they've only emailed because I poked them.
Whatever that means.
As of this morning, there was, we had provided every single thing they've asked. And so they just want a few updates on a few items. So I'll send that around and it sounds like it's mostly, from the town. Yeah. Get some answers back.
Just for those new board members that are not aware what this project is, it's the under drains of our 6 filters. And we had filters, the under drains fail a year, 2 years ago now almost. And this project was originally deemed an emergency and we're still, slowly getting to that point. So it is a concern that we get those under drains replaced.
We're on the IUP. We haven't closed yet. And I hear HABs are an emerging contaminant. I don't know. I don't know if there's any point to relist us and get scored, but now so in other words, this project was applied for funding before the
Right.
HAB incident.
Right, but it's a loan, right? It's not a,
Because we didn't qualify
Right.
for any funding, but it depends on, we just should close. But if things proceed slowly, I'm gonna keep my eye on when things are open and closed and see if there's any chance we can.
weasel our way in the backyard.
It's not even weaseling because the filters were majorly a component of protecting the drinking water during the HAB incident. So it's just emphasizing filters were acting reliably on a day-to-day basis is super important. When there's an HAB incident going on, like triply is important so that they are reliable and can protect this, the community from this is something I think worth emphasizing. But I just don't know if it's gonna get us anything, but we're gonna try.
Here's an unrelated but related question. Do we track how much precipitation we've gotten so far versus last year? Do we anticipate having the same type of situation happen this summer? Can you even look at that?
Gauge it somehow.
Yeah,
Something that I've been tracking. I will look into seeing if that's something that we can.
Chime in, yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the Dutchess County Airport and there's a link where you can get their data. And also provides you later. I've been tracking it for years for Poughkeepsie and using Jonesboro. There's also a couple of rain gauges up and down the Hudson that you can use.
does it work? Does it calculate well versus with the salt line versus how much precipitation we get, or is it not even?
It's data.
Yeah, okay.
It's one, and think about AV cooling, but it can be different wherever you're looking. So it's just another data point.
Have you seen any analysis of precursors earlier on in the season that could help us predict if we think what's coming? No.
We have begun developing a plan of things we're going to be looking at. We're seeing a probe so that we can measure phycocyanin and some of those other compounds like even algae. have, so we can see if we can begin getting some data points, so we can start trending some of this information. So, we're gonna install an additional connectivity meter. We've changed how we're reporting connectivity throughout the plan on a regular basis. So hopefully we have a better idea of when we see some of this change. So we can leave it.
Pun intended, it's a very fluid situation.
Yes.
We're getting close to spring. We're getting so close.
Nice here.
Okay, that being said,
Leads us into the other engineering topic, which is our comprehensive facility plan. And that we have our bid opening on Wednesday. So have some.
And we have received one so far already, which is early.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good.
That's great. I expect at least 3, because I've heard from.
That's what you're hearing?
That's
At least three? No, that's good. That's good.
That's the number.
So
Yeah.
that's, I know it's great. I expect.
What's the due date on the bids? Like, what can they get into?
2:30 on the 4th.
Oh, that's the ending date.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
opening.
Yeah,
Okay.
opens at 2:30.
So we extended the month,
Opening
flat
actually
fee,
met.
correct?
Yeah, so the bid opening is actually like, yeah, it's the end when you're opening up there.
so that's.
I had it mixed up.
Yeah, so it's close.
And that is at what time?
2:30,
2:30 at City Hall, if anybody's interested.
3rd floor.
So,
Never your office.
No, I'm not nowhere near that building. I mean, love that.
okay. So I guess the next item on our list is new business, and it does kind of coincide with all of our engineering projects. So as you know, we've discussed, or I've mentioned how we have issues with power here at the facility, and the power we're getting from Central Hudson sometimes is often erratic. With that, the drops in the current that comes in is the most debilitating for us, because it causes harm to our controls. So because of that, we are looking at some ideas of how we can improve the power, and Armani is here today to provide a presentation on some of the ideas of this. So.
Armand, do you want to have this chair?
No,
Oh,
I stay right next to it.
So, since we're on Zoom too, I just need to share my.
Yeah, sure. You know how to share the.
Click on the green upper arrow. I think that should do it. And I'll give you the option to pop up.
Yeah, okay, so,
Yeah, that was.
okay. Can you see my screen?
All right, thank you. So Armani Ballesteros have been around at this plant for the last 30 years. And I started working with Joe and Brian, gone into the centrifuges of the solar building. And from that point on, I pretty much do everything that has to do with controls of the plant, automated all the systems. So we only have one operator every 12 hours. Everything else is an autopilot. Except when something goes wrong, the operator is there to take care of it. But one of the main
problems that we have in this plan is regarding to the power, incoming power from Hudson, Central Hudson. And I just put this morning, what we got is 3 phases. You cannot see the other one, but there's 3 lines and it's showing you how much disturbance is, how much power coming in. There and the contract supposed to be give us or provide us with a plus or minus 5%. I've been asking them to do another study and to give us a little bit more information because every single area I would get a lower power than what I'm supposed to. If it's a 480, I'm getting 440 during the summertime, even going down to 400 volts. So low voltage and high voltage are bad for equipment. Low voltage is even worse because you are consuming more current in your load. So some of the devices we got, you burned out some pumps, burned up a UPS system, which is supposed to be help us to clean up the voltage, burn up the ozone generator. So far, the plant has invested like $300,000+ in repairs and labor and everything else. So from that point on, we had 2 years. We have an incident during the summertime where the power went down and then come back up and went higher than was supposed to be and then dropped lower than was supposed to. And we burned out few pumps, communication modules, and then we have to have operators around the clock in different areas to even run the plant for 2 weeks. That's the cost of like $200,000 plus the equipment that we have to replace. So they asked me if I can do something about it. They bring a group of engineers. They do mid voltage and high voltage, doing the studies to work with me to see if we can help with the controls to give them better, cleaner voltage. And fortunately, when we did the upgrade for the controls, I already took all that in consideration. So we put a transformer, filters, we put UPS batteries in it, like for if the power goes out, I still have the 24-volt circuits continue running, so it would tell me, hey, it was powering. So after that, I contact Schneider Electric. It's a company. There's $34 billion globally. They have 120,000 employees, 300 different factories, and they connect with the president of administration to even build more factories in the U.S. to have this built in the U.S. In addition to that,
And all the hardware in here now is currently Schneider anyway, right?
yes. So that's one thing. When I came here maybe 12 years ago to the meeting, when I came to the meeting, and it was a problem back then where you would have a controller go down, then we had to call somebody in Michigan. Then we have to call that person who comes fly from Michigan, come to the plant. Oh yeah, you have a problem here. I gotta get you a part. I'll come back in 2 weeks. So it was months of repairing one system. So the board member was actually Randy asked me how we can improve. So I give him an option for Siemens, Schneider Electric, Rockwell, and ABB to do the controls. We've finalized it to do a Schneider Electric. That's why we end up with them. Now, in addition to that, I can communicate with them seamless because I have controls. They talk their language, so I can just connect, get an IP address, and I connect immediately to the system. So, yeah, so this company made a deal to build more factories in the US. And one of the things that Schneider Electric proposed to make the most of the energy resources is bring in progress to make sure that also they're not polluting, they're not doing anything, try to be more as clean as possible. So I just talked to you about the poor income power, the quality, several power qualities events, the spikes, shocks, and all kinds of transitions. Like if you look at the trending, there's sometimes someone starts a motor here, which I would go with the highest. The high lifts are 800 horsepower, but they run at 4160 volts at 38 amps. So what happens is there's 3 lines and there's an immediate start. What that does to the entire plant, it brings down in another areas the spike. And most likely you're gonna be okay, but during the summertime, you are already in the low voltage and you start a new motor, you're gonna go even lower. And it's less than a second, but that will that will take you down. So we experiencing up to 80 shutdowns, unscheduled shutdowns previous years. But with the standardization of the controls and everything else, we are down to like 3 or 4 for this year so far. So we are doing a big progress on that regards. So that's the reason of the cross-line motors. We need to reduce of the power consumption. So again, if you have a lower voltage, you use more current. What happens is your meter is going to be higher. Your reading is going to be higher. And they when they put the meter to, because I was asking Central Hudson, we have a problem. Finally, they came in here, 12 people to put a meter in the front of the plant. And they, oh yeah, we agree. We have low power. But I said, well, why you didn't say anything? They did that change in the substation 5 years ago. And they didn't communicate that to anybody. So that was a good finding. So it's pretty much there. So this is numbers that I just grabbed from the trendings and trying to give you an idea. So if we have unplanned downtime and we need to produce water, well, you're losing about $4,000 an hour, right? Every time it happens. So like I mentioned before, we had up to 80 shutdowns. That comes down to 1.3 million of losses. All right. Now it's very difficult to do in a water plant like they do manufacturing. Because you do a product, you know more or less how much you're going to sell it, and you have an idea how much money you can actually make. So it was a little bit tough to come up with these numbers. I know how much they sell it for per gallon, but I don't know if somebody has a discount or whatever. But more or less, that's what the number come out to. So that's in May 2024. That's what I mentioned, that $234,000. Also, generator costs about $44,000 with repairs and labor. So then we have the Watson Marble pumps. This number, believe it or not, is half of what it used to be. Trying to get a new quote for one of those pumps. What those pumps do is giving you exact amount of dose of your chemical. So that's a $30,000 pump. So if you burn one out, it's $30,000 more. Plus, you have to get somebody to ship it, install it, put all the connections, and make it up. Make it decide to work. So we're talking about $60,000 at that time. Throttling the valves. So what's going to happen with one of the items that I'm trying to give you is a VFD, it's a variable frequency drive. So right now what we're using is a 3-phase connection, and the motor is running 100% of the speed. So the only way they can control the operators to throttle down to throttle down the flow, they need to throttle a valve. So now you have a motor that's running 100% speed, but you're reducing it, you're closing a valve to get you a flow. Why they will do that? Okay. So what happens is here they have 2 rates, right? So one is a 14 million or 15 million gallons per day, and the other one is 11 million or 6 million gallons per day. So what's happening is they fill up the tank all the way to the top in the reservoir, and then they reduce the speed down to 11 million. And that's what they call like 2 different rates. So it's one lower to get the water changed. So that's what happens there. So instead of doing that, you can do it in place electronically. You can say to the motor, reduce 90% speed or reduce 60% speed. Okay. So this is what this is another idea to do with the voltage regulator. Like, I don't know how if you remember having a voltage regulator in your TV back in the day, basically that's what it does. This is another idea to do this. Basically, that would help with the entire facility. So whatever we coming in on the incoming feed, we regulate the power, right? So this is basically, I can go over everything, but it's basically the same idea of the VFD, but yes, for the plant. This is the variable frequency drive. So inter and medium voltage, 4160 is 4,160 volts. We consider medium voltage is not high voltage. The high voltage that comes from the post is 13,200 volts that we're supposed to be getting, and we are not getting that. So, I mean, 13,600 volts, and we're getting 13,200 volts. So it's lower. So it's direct proportional to the amount of voltage that we need in the entire facility. All right, so that's the high lifts, the 4 pumps, 800 horsepower, drives. I want to have the same capacity on every drive. I don't want to have, one is a 600 horsepower, they want a 700 horsepower. I just want to do the 800 horsepower. So that's that. And then you have one, which is the backwash. That's only used for the filters when they do a backwash to the filter. And that's immediate savings right there. And this is what the energy savings. And that's the Central Hudson savings. So basically, there's a program out there. Hopefully, they don't take it away. So by using VFD, Central Hudson would give you credits back. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get money from Central Hudson and New York, Sarah. Which one is that? Yes. So we're trying to get in that program. And the last time we did the inventory of all the VFDs at this plant, it was close to $600,000. The plant do not need to put money out. It's going to be credited back to the plant. So you can find the project by doing. So they have the project. We will have the people that build the Schneider Electric. They're licensed in New York. They're pretty much they doing this installations everywhere else. So we have the support from them. We will be able to communicate with the state immediately. As soon as we connect, we will be able to change the speed or whatever we need to do. So it's a turnkey. Now, this estimates right now, like I said, it's been a couple of years. I've been rolling back and forth between the manufacturing and how much money we're going to get back. So this is an estimate number. That's including the regulators for the plant. So one thing that I want to mention that I forgot. So let's just say, hopefully not right away, but let's say in 3 or 4 or 5 years, you decide to build a bigger plant somewhere else. We can use some of these elements somewhere else. It's not like you put the money into it or not putting the money into it, but you get in this and then you have to get rid of it. So that's another thing that I forgot to mention. But we did the all the risk assessments, all the stuff, the studies. I will give you links to the government and the Central Hudson, so you can see that. So that's me with the VFDs and the voltage regulator. The second presentation, Mike is going to help me out with that. What we put together is basically right now, the government is giving incentives to do solar panels and batteries, but that's gonna go away. So we only have like a very small couple of us to do this. One of the will help us is you will need to provide them some area where you can put solar panels, but they will give you batteries. Now, the batteries I'm talking about, they're the size of a shipping container. It's not a battery that you can start a car or something like that, but you can help me out with that. Yes.
All right,
Central, that's what makes back roads, they damage.
I'm gonna do this a lot every. So the Schneider financing arrangements called power purchase agreement. And we view them too, but in this particular situation, the way I made this proposal is based on the maximum ITCs, which is investment tax credit. What you guys have to understand, is the new administration doesn't like solar or wind, so they're taking away the investment tax credit. And starting on July 4th, boom, they're all gonna. So you would have to encumber the New York State NYSERDA incentives, who would have to encumber the ITC tax credits, and that would be done within the next couple of months, or else they're gone forever. And I think Schneider, even if you're going to go with Schneider, if they do something like this, I think their battery is equivalent to like $13 million. Okay, what you have to understand is that the big beautiful bill came in, and he put fiat, foreign entities of concern, and he said if you build your battery in China and ship it to America, you get no ITCs. So everybody is building factories in America, and the battery I'm proposing is built in New York State, qualifies for 30% base plus the 10% adder. And the price I got on it is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So talking about that for a second, I subsidize this 80%, and the remaining could be financed through Sunstone. You're the owners, it's not a PPA, you get all the benefits. We sell off the ITC tax credit, and we also sell off the 100% first year depreciation. Now, I'm not advising you on taxes. I believe you're tax exempt. So I don't know if you have a taxable consequence that you get direct pay, or I don't know how that would work, but I'm not going to advise on that. What I'm just going to say is the cash value in that estimate is accurate. I'm giving you 100%, even if I have to sell it off at 85 cents on the dollar. That's what the real value is. And the battery, most importantly, is at peak load, you get 3 full hours, and at average load, you get 3.28. And we can even increase that. We can actually put 2 batteries in there, and you can actually go for a longer time. But over 4 megawatt hours, they cut the incentives way down. They only want to give so much incentives. Right now, New York State is willing to give you guys $350 per kilowatt hour. Times 3,760 is the size of that battery, so there's a lot of incentive right there. So you imagine that incentive plus the ITC plus the 100% depreciation is 80% real value to you guys. And the way I propose it, if you add in the VFDs, this would look even better. And I told Armani beforehand, I didn't get any information until just recently, but it's put it all in the same wrapper. You may be able to get the ITC on the VFDs and the tax benefit of 100% first year depreciation. So this would look incredibly better if we combine it in different ways. So bottom line, you guys, $6 million cost avoiding, total sold cost is $8 million. Net after everything that I would propose, $2 million. So I think the best way to go beyond here, you have any immediate questions to ask me before I ramble and talk about things that don't interest you guys?
Well, making a decision before July is going to be
Possible.
100%.
And secondly, with our comprehensive study going on, this would all be part of that. Like you can't, you're going to be doing a whole study on every ounce of what goes on in this plan. So all this stuff would go into that. That's where everybody should be working together. To do that, I would think.
Well, I see the need for, making a decision before the money goes away. However, we've tried to get an emergency fix for the drains. It's taken 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
My solution, if that makes sense. What I suggest you do is we do whatever paperwork needs to be done to encumber New York State incentives.
and qualify and safe harbor the ITCs, and you have 4 years to do the job. Basically, we tell them they're gonna do with a letter of commitment, no money needs to exchange hands, but you have to say like you're really serious. They don't wanna encumber the incentives and then you're not gonna do it, you know what I mean? So
Still encumbering it and committing to it, but yet if our facility plan comes up with something else, then
And you have two boards that have to approve that.
Yeah.
well, there's no consequence if you pull out.
Understood, but we're governed by two separate boards, so that they have to make a decision before July on all this stuff with the comprehensive plan coming. I'm not sure.
Yes.
It's a huge ask, is what I'm saying.
Well, let me tell you what would happen in that case. The administration has to change. And I don't think a Republican administration is going to bring back solar or wind. So unless Democrats get elected, the ITC is gone. There's nothing, I can't bring it back. What happens in other states right now, like California, when they're up to $1,000 per kilowatt hour for battery incentives, especially for critical facilities. You guys are a critical facility. You guys go first in line. In New York State, it's $350 as a critical facility. Regular people get $175.
Those are the credits.
Right. So when the federal government reduces their incentive, the states sometimes compensate because on your bill you're paying into the system. You can pay an IBC charge and a special benefits charge and a renewables charge, and that's how all this money comes together. You funded it. You just asked for it back.
No, you could tell me you're going to build us a brand new plant for nothing, and it's supposed to go to two. Like it's a giant process. I'm just saying. You know what?
So can I just ask the history behind this? Because this is my third year here. And I'm glad you are here to help solve problems. Did Randy ask you to, because this has been a long time coming.
Yes.
You didn't do this in a week.
No.
We had a meeting about this last year, was it? Or a year and a half ago?
Randy over like 8 years ago.
If I remember, I had a meeting about this stuff
Yeah.
last year, a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
something
Okay.
a while back.
Yeah, because, for the new board members, they might be like, wait, where did you guys come from? You weren't on the schedule last month.
I was here at 2024. 2 years ago, I started this process, and we've been working on different solutions and batteries. Just so you know, 2 years ago, batteries were selling $800 to over $1,000 a kilowatt hour. Now, what happened was this new beautiful bill. Is all these battery companies are stuck with these things you can't give away. So the batteries went under $200 a kilowatt hour, flooded the market, and people are flooding it. So everybody is rushing to safe harbor these batteries. Most of the companies I'm dealing with are booked in 2028. So the fact that I even have a battery to sell today is unbelievable. Just because we have a lot of business with them, and they're counting on our business like I'm counting on their business. So, make a long story short, I know what you're saying. I'm not just.
I'm just.
I think that let's
realistic.
develop a plan to safe harbor the incentives. You are under 1.5 megawatts, which means that I don't technically have to start the physical construction. I could just spend 5% of the budget on something, which could be, I don't know what it is in this case, but that's how we would safe harbor. And I haven't done enough research on particularly a water treatment plant, but that's my advice to you. You can take encumber the state incentives and encumber the federal incentives. That way you have years to make decisions.
Maybe a better question to start is, these are lithium ion, I assume.
Lithium ion
And
phosphate.
what impact are we looking at with a very important asset if one of those goes up in flames? Because they burn for 2 weeks and there's nothing you can do.
Just so you know, I was the number one eater of those batteries. The battery that I'm recommending, I didn't bring any brochures on it because I can leave here in 2 weeks. We'll sold out to 5 more years.
Yeah, you're trying to. I just want to have the practical safety impact, not the sales.
This
pitch.
battery
That's what
is
I'm asking.
100% approved UL 9540, 9540A.
Yeah.
It's in water, so it can't get oxygen to light up. It's basically fireproof, and it basically has all these measures because all the issues that went before us for the last decade, they've been working on this. Tesla's unreachable. I'll go with them first, but you couldn't even get them on the phone right now. They're so booked out. They're doing gigawatts, not even megawatts. So to answer your question, if you want to go through with this, we have plenty of time to go to the factory, to talk to people, do whatever you need to do to check it out. But this battery is priced so inexpensively at 40% ITC. any other thing, this doesn't become practical anymore and it's costing you guys money. Most of the people that I work with, most of the corporations do not have taxable money, so I have to sell up to RTCs. And they're really interested in the savings. They're not interested in spending money. They're interested in getting money back. So that's why I speak this language like this. By the way, if we were going to put solar on here, it would be retractable, just like what you have now. The panels would go out and come in and out, so you can work on it, and it would be bifacial. So even the light that transfers through hits the water, comes right back up.
So you're talking over basins.
Yeah, that's
That was my idea, I'm sorry, but it was an aerial connection for the solar panels.
I didn't
Cover them.
engineering on that, but I have $1 million in that budget to erect some custom thing. There's other companies already doing it, so I would role model them or contact them with ability.
Now, the solar panel is not intentionally, there's not the intention to supply power to the plant. It's part of the incentives. They give, okay, we're gonna give you a free battery, so you have to do this. And even if it's 10% of your production, they don't care. They just wanna have the panel just as an incentive.
I think at some point we were calculating and we need like 5 acres of land to, power up this base. Yes.
So when you do these, I use NREL system advisor model, and when you run all these programs and stuff like that, and you run the math, you take solar out, it doesn't look right, and they don't want to support it. So you just need the edge. So the reason why this becomes profitable is because one of the things we would do, if this may change, I should say it may change, it will change. I would want to switch you guys to a time use program. So we're charging the batteries in midnight. So it's cheaper electric. If you're in peak, from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night is like 40% of your bill. And if you just eliminate that portion, your bill goes down. So if you put the VFDs, your bill goes down. If you guys already have an agreement with the company, I don't know what it is, the demand response revenue, you're not getting 80% of it because you don't have a battery. As soon as you put a battery in, it opens up the doors to all different programs, resiliency, a voltage regulation, a whole bunch of programs, which is income to you guys. So, without overstating it, the battery is basically the grid's answer to their problems. They're making you bear their cost. We're on a job in Orange County substation. They said, "Oh, we need these $40 million from you. We can let you do this." So like that be possible. So there's all these problems with the grid. It's all over the world. This ain't just to Central Hudson. It's in Con Edison. It's all over the place. Today on the radio there was NYSEG is going up 38%. Their bills, you know what I mean? So this number goes in 10, 20 years.
So one thing is the state of New York is going to supply millions of dollars for the power coming from Canada. Canada is going to increase the price. The price is going to go up. The distribution is going to go up, and then whoever sell it to you, that's going to go up. So what the government is trying to do is they're trying to give incentive to even go a little further. You can even produce your generation power here, use it for your own benefit, and sell it back to them.
That was my question. We, here in the town of Poughkeepsie, we are steeped in BESS because we passed BESS code 5 months ago, maybe.
Yes, I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah. And the town of Poughkeepsie did a whole bunch of research, and we kind of, with Rebecca Edwards' help, pioneered the other municipalities to learn more about BESS because it was like, that could catch on fire, end of the world.
Yeah.
My question is, the BESS units they don't need to be next to a substation because they're really powering us. They're keeping our voltage at the level that you want, less than that 5% variable.
Yeah.
Precision.
So you're using the BESS for this facility. So it doesn't need to be near a substation because it's not Central Hudson
Correct.
getting the energy, it's us getting the energy.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
The solar panels are just there to kind of help the BESS
Help
generate.
to obtain the incentive for that money.
Okay.
They will not give you the check, and they will give you the money if they don't see solar panels.
So,
Because that program is going to go away.
so
So
there's- yeah.
that's the incentive.
The
That's
other thing that I've learned in the last 2 years is the direct pay is a way for municipalities to cash in on the credits
Yes.
with the tax credits, but we have to opt into that. And I don't know, the city would have to do that because all the books go through the city, right? And the other piece is that, the city has a climate smart task force. Do you?
I don't think so.
So the town has a climate smart task force. We would get points for creating something that would be self-sustaining.
And we've gotten recognition a couple times over for stuff in that.
Yeah.
And they
We're
work
at
very,
bronze level,
work
but
very
this
hard
will
on
help
it.
us get to silver, and then the state gives us money in grants.
Yes.
And so I don't know if the city would like to do the same thing.
But the county has.
I think you have a couple, like, all the stuff's in here is valuable. But like the VFDs are its own separate project.
Yeah.
At the best, it's all separate. You got it all jammed into one here.
Yeah.
Because the VFDs are like, that's operational. You know, that's like a budgetary thing in my eyes, because that's plant performance. You need that on pumps without doubt. So other stuff is like where it falls into like the comprehensive study we're doing now. And that's the bigger picture of what's going on here.
The majority of the pumps here that has a VFD on it already.
I thought the big ones didn't
The
downstairs.
big ones do not.
That's what I mean by
The big ones are the ones that need it the most.
Exactly.
that's the ones that need it the most. That's what I'm saying. So that's like putting the VFDs on there, but that's important. That's a no-brainer in my book.
Right.
But there's other stuff like it tips on the part of the study that we're doing.
Yeah, so one of the things that they asked me to do, find a solution for us not to have any shutdowns,
Yeah.
Or not to have any breakdowns or any
Wasting it.
wasting money and doing all that. And that's why I started this.
No, I get it. No,
A couple of things that you should also understand. So on this proposal, I we mentioned several times in there that it's behind the meter net generation, which that means is the grid wants nothing to do with solar intermittent power. And you have such a load that you don't even want to think about exporting. So in order to get through the interconnection queue in a timely fashion, going behind the meter net generation zero export parallel allocation, that's how this would fly right through. And the Caesar study would be like 2 months. It would be really, really quick. You don't have to do that, but I'm just suggesting if net metering comes back into play, that would be a historically, it ain't gonna happen. Everywhere in the country, they're going to 3 cents or less per kilowatt hour, sometimes 4 cents in certain states, but they're not paying retail net metering anymore. So that's gone. You know,
Let me just try to bring this to a close. We got this an hour ago. Our engineers haven't had a chance to look at it. We haven't had a chance to look at it. Right now, the price tag is $8 million, if I'm seeing that correctly. I don't know
we'll just take 3 of them,
Yeah. Like, I don't even know what the next step is for us, to be honest with you. Like, our engineers first have to look at this. Then we have to discuss it as a board. Then our individual municipalities have to discuss it. Then we have to decide how we want to fund it, if we want to fund it, if it goes on the capital plan. We got capital plan right now this long, and that's not in there.
Right.
that's why I proposed it that way.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, this process is like, there's nothing gonna get, I appreciate everything, but there's nothing gonna get settled right now. And like, I mean, I wanna look at this. Yeah, like, we need to,
Be asking questions, because if Randy asked them to do this,
I don't even know what questions to ask right now.
right.
No.
But you wouldn't want to throw out 3 years of diligence working this problem, because the problem keeps happening. And why would we, set this aside and then ask a comprehensive change to happen without them understanding this? Maybe we can just, I don't know if it's allowed, if it's legal to say, listen, we want to do something like this. Put this in your comprehensive plan.
No, but hold on. I think this is the first thing. And I understand. I think maybe you guys realize everything's ending, so we're gonna quickly try to share this information, but maybe this is a lot. This is like an engineering charrette versus a presentation to this board. Like, this is too much. We're drinking from a fire hose here. And no one's had any time to absorb, like, this needed to be a little slowed down on how you're trying to communicate the goal here, which everyone knows. The power drops are horrible. There was just gone through us of VFDs and the solar and what, so it's not really the story arc is not, we're like in a Quentin Tarantino movie. So we need to bring it back down. So let's talk over the month and figure out next month how to present this information in a digestible format.
Part of it, like the PG license, drawings, all the studies, it's been done.
Right, but we gotta learn, we gotta present this.
But the project for this study took us how long to approve that funding for?
So yeah, so this is, so
This is.
in Armani's defense, he has brought this to the group of us, the staff here. And part of the concern from our perspective here is some of the spacing, like the size of these things and where we're gonna put it, what's the feasibility of actually implementing it. And with it coming at the same time as going through this comprehensive facility plan, there's been concern about like, what comes first? Which do we do? Do we wait for this? Do we not? But so that's one of the reasons why we're getting this now, hearing that some of these incentives were going away, which wasn't necessarily the case, a few months ago. So that's why it's coming to you now. Those concerns are still a big concern for us. I mean, designing solar panels for on top of the basins, is that really something that we can even physically do? Yes, we want to cover them from an operations standpoint, but we weren't necessarily thinking solar panels. And that's first time I've heard it today. It was earlier.
That's what I mean,
So it's
like we took a lot of time for the comprehensive plan just to get out the door. Think about that. And this was not even
Part of it,
part of it, right? Like,
which it should have been.
if it was this important and working on for 3 years behind the scenes, it should have been part of that comprehensive plan. Like, we spent a lot of time on that. Like, this should have been.
Yeah, part of it.
I mean,
The only thing that like the VFDs are, to me, are a separate operation. That's a budgetary.
Agree.
That's an upgrade that you do, as part of that.
Agree.
This other stuff, that's way bigger, and that's the whole, that all falls in
Many of
that.
these are a small, even if you don't go with the voltage regulation, the VFDs, to me, even to put 2 pumps in the VFDs, that would make me happy.
That's a savings there alone. So then pumps coming on full tilt.
Right.
Yeah, so VFDs, you're talking about maybe 700, 1.2 million, but you get incentives, you get money back and pay for it.
Right, and that's a huge electrical savings alone. And then you have the end of the month, you're changing the taps for the service coming in too. So you gotta kind of see what that does, because that Central Hudson's making their attempt on that end to get us back to where we should be.
Right.
So we could be going more crazy than what we have to until we actually see what the result is. I mean, granted, you might need filters or whatever the case may be, but it's kind of got to.
We're going to take a recommendation from a plan, and we're going to take this over the recommendation of a comprehensive plan. Like, it should be in tandem of the.
I think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, but the point is that the quality of power that you have here is unusually poor. And you're absolutely right. It's not anything, I'm just seeing this for the first time.
Right, but is that part of the comprehensive plan is to deal
Well-
with
I mean, we pretty much put everything but the kitchen sink in the comprehensive plan.
I don't recall if that word is in there. It's in there,
So that feeds in. This will feed into that
yeah.
as part of it, because then that's your spacing for units to put outside for storage and batteries and all that stuff. And I don't know if that the zoning changes with the town at all with those battery storage things or not.
I mean,
Even for us, I don't know if that affects that or not.
sorry, so what I understood, we have a power generator. I mean, we have a generator. It's we have to manually start it.
It's a manual start for
So-
emergency only.
Yeah, so I used to work in a situation, we were generating our own power. We had 3 generators, three generators. We would switch one to the other, and the problem is electricity fluctuates, so we have a stabilizer. But the way we circuit, technically we did was, we had like 30 years ago, we had this battery, and then it powers the bees through the batteries. As soon as you lose the power, it's automatically the generator starts. So you have a much stable electricity, and so I mean, I love the idea of what in the urgency and all, but what we need is eventually we need a stable electricity.
Yes.
And that saves a lot of things burning down, including the ozone generator to all the motors to everything. First of all, there's savings because we stabilize the power and we have the generator. It's just a matter of if we can do it. But
Unfortunately, with the generator you currently have, it's a 2 megawatts generator. What
Okay.
happens with that generator, not only there is unstable to start and get you up running, we tried to run it through the generator, the entire facility, and we had to go to a different location, different areas to manually control it for an extended period of time
That's not
because it was not up to whatever. So, and there's a diesel.
okay.
So that's a generator, there's a diesel. I even proposed to Randy to do a generator with hydrogen and get the oxygen, and I was a little fancy. We're sending the study to the University of New Paltz to give some a little bit of study, but it was not really feasible at the time. Plus, the government at that time, they didn't want to give any incentives for you to produce your power. Now they want you to produce the power because they cannot supply power. We know how to generate the power. I mean, in the state, the country knows how to generate power, but the transition to go into cables, they have the same infrastructure for many, many years. You get a more population and they haven't changed anything.
And so here's the thing. Would you say we pay approximately close to $1,752 million per year for electricity?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's $10 million. It's you can have the return on investment not like a 30 years. We could.
The rate of return you pay back is under 9 years. It's
not bad.
means for the return on investment, and it's 178% return over 20 years. It's even greater after you pay the balance. The last 5 years really goes up straight. One of the things I'm thinking right now, where are you guys at with the VFDs? The reason why I asked that question, if you tie them together and you're going to do the VFDs, that would qualify as the 5% expenditures and get the safe harbor rate. You can combine all the engineering together.
They're not currently on
No.
any capital plan, especially based on the situation we're in.
I think we've done all this work for this feasibility study. What if the feasibility study goes against this? Then what do we do? That could happen. Or it could say, this is the best plan ever. I don't know. But what I'm saying is we put all our eggs in this basket and we haven't even seen the basket yet.
When is that? 2:30?
We need to see the basket.
Yeah.
Like,
Answering the direct question right there. If there was a way you could make a deposit that's refundable that qualifies you guys under the ITC Safe Harbor Act, would that work for you?
no way. No way.
Because you don't have any money lined up for it.
No,
You have to figure it
yeah.
out, right?
No,
Because
that's,
that's 5% of the deal automatically safe harbors it. You know what I mean? If you're over 1.5 megawatts, then you have to go to 5% actual physical construction at the site, but digging holes, foundations and stuff.
I don't see us finding 5% of this project.
We had 2 years to come up to try to finance
Right.
the
underdrains.
drains, which you heard.
We're still waiting.
And we're still not still not done yet. We haven't even gotten them in order to screw yet.
The way this business works, and it's not our fault, and it's not the city's fault, it's not the town's fault.
Oh,
The way this works in New York State is like, do you have everything?
Wait.
So we run around, we get everything, we put it together, we give it to them. Okay, we'll wait a couple months. Oh, you know what? The town makes too much money and the city doesn't make enough. So you don't get the grant. But, and this has been an emergency for 2.5 years.
yeah.
And
Awful.
I think, what was our total on this budget? The drains, because I remember 4 million.
Well, what's awful is New York shuts down a power plant and tells us to find power.
Yeah, exactly.
It's out there in the river now. That line's on the river. It's out there.
Pretty tough digs.
And that's the selling point of it. The reason that certain people in government like solar, wind, and battery is the credits and incentives that they sell off. So basically, they're building solar, wind, battery storage. So it'll be a developer that builds it. They sell it off to a hedge fund because the hedge fund's going to save hundreds of millions of dollars with the credits that they receive, bonus depreciation accelerated, ITC. And that's where the money is. So then it's like, who cares if it even produces anything? Because that's not where the money is. So that's a positive thing here as far as receiving the credits. But I think it was a lot of information that really needs to be just reviewed by Aaron, I think, and just giving everyone here time to sit down, because that's a big decision to make after a 30-minute.
No, we always not with the intent to give you something to decide today or tomorrow or next month or next
10 years.
yeah.
We do appreciate it. I mean, it's frustrating that at the timing that it came, but I do appreciate that you have given us this information right before the bid opens. And we find out what these other contractors or the engineering firms want to do, because at least we found out that this is an opportunity before other companies come in and say, oh, no, we have to build a second plant somewhere down the river.
Right.
And this is only focusing on saving electricity and creating a better flow of electricity. Our bigger concern is the amount of water we can produce.
Right.
So this doesn't help that. It just saves us some money.
One thing that I've been mentioning to the people that work here is that we are down to 2 pumps. We don't even have enough to produce the demand there is on the tanks. You probably don't know this, but it's been times that we are about to send letters that we don't have enough water to produce to put it in the tanks. Now, that doesn't happen today. It happens at 2 o'clock in the morning when we're trying to start up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't have enough level to do this. So at that moment
So
of
is
the
that-
time,
is that
you gotta find a
Is that the pumps itself, or is that the power, or is that not having VFD, or what is it? You got too many different projects going on here at once.
Yeah, so
Pumps are bad? Okay, we replace pumps.
Yeah.
But like, that's,
most of the time it's been the power. And most of the time it burns, right now, it burns like VFDs and other pumps. We have to replace those for the consumption of this. To move the solids to the other building, we had to come up with an emergency plan to buy the VFDs, install it right away. So I don't want to be in that situation where the high lifts or 2 high lifts goes down and we don't have enough to produce to.
That was Memorial Day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. That was the Memorial Day emergency.
yes.
Can we get smaller modules of stabilizers?
Yeah, the drive, there are capacitors and diodes. That's the voltage regulator.
Okay.
And the VFDs is a well-proven concept. So even if you buy one for the 11 million, you can go from 11 million to 6 million back and forth. Even if you buy it.
Yeah.
But that's the reason that I put it together is because they've given us money to do it.
Right.
Because I know if I go to the city, I need $6 million, they're gonna tell me we don't have the money. We don't even have the money to pay you right now.
Right.
So the problem is I had to go out and try to find money. I'm looking for another grants to get even the 5% down so I can do this. However, that's what I'm presenting it to you. It's
So the
not,
power is a big chunk of the issue that
oh, yes.
that provides.
90% of the time is the power. Not only because it goes down and goes up and the pumps, the motors get damaged. The VFD gets damaged. The communication gets damaged. Now, it's not like in your house when you need to heat up your bread, you put it in a toaster and it's fine. You're talking about thousands of volts going into one motor instantaneously has to start. And all this torque, it has to start instantaneously. So if we have the VFDs, we can ease it up. Oh, perfect example. We got changed the one in the blower because that was an emergency, burned out. So we put a VFD on it, in front of it, and it's been a beautiful result. You don't see the lights going up and down here anymore.
I mean, does it has to be part of the comprehensive plan? Because, this is my, I'm looking at like 30,000 feet away. comprehensive plan, yeah, maybe we need a plant. We need another 50 million or 100 million. It might take, how long, even if we have the money, how long it's going to take to build, figure out everything. Comparing to this is something critical. I feel like in 1 or 2 years, we might want to do this because it saves money of the taxpayer.
I get it, and it does save money. I think what we need though is to really evaluate like the size of the things that we're looking at. I mean, to put.
Yeah, where do you put it, right?
Putting it, where are we putting battery storage?
Marist.
I mean, we're talking about like, unfortunately, we cannot just go to Marist, campus and do that.
In the rock wall.
That's gonna be a whole other issue, as that comprehensive plan.
We have to see what that comes at the end of the month too. Like when you do that, when they retap and then you retest to see where everything is. That's step one. That's the first thing on the agenda.
Yeah, but there's many different issues on power. It's not only that we have a low power.
Yeah, but these credits were available for the past 4 or 5 years, right?
Yes.
And now they're running out, and now all of a sudden we're in a pinch. Like,
No.
Batteries were $1,000. Now they're 200. Like, it's like the whole thing changed because of
I know, but there's nothing we can do here about, like, this is
the question that might come. I'm really asking this is a serious question. Schneider's proposal that was formatted on a power purchase agreement. Are you familiar with that? Now there's no money down. It's just based on the savings. If we got in touch with Schneider and put this all into a Schneider PPA, the reason why we would do that is because at this level of the job, they have the finances to do that because it's going to be on them financing, not me or Romani, I should say. That might solve this problem where you safe harbor under a PPA because they're the ones spending the money. They could go in the back room and say they're building X, Y, and Z VFD for you guys, and then that's part of the project.
And then we have to lease or something like that?
That's what no, lease is something different. Like there's tax equity flips, there's also hybrid deals. It depends on who you're selling to. If you're allowed to go direct pay, that's the best thing if you're going to own it. But in the PPA, they're getting all that.
So PPA means power purchase agreement. So it's basically an agreement to purchase power from a third party. Is the simple way.
Instead of buying it to Central Hudson, you're going to have a bill in front of it. It's going to say, I'm just saying in a Schneider Electric. So the money that you pay into the Hudson, they get in credits. So let's say they save in 30% of that money that you pay into that. Your bill's still the same. You're still paying the $60,000 a month, but the 30% of that is going to the manufacturer.
And so the electricity we might produce is a fraction, but you were saying during the night, when the electricity is cheaper, they can store in the batteries and then
usually you can use a time of use program.
Right.
You set up the interconnection agreement because they want you to do this. The utility wants you to do this. It takes their burden off of them on basically the power purchase agreement might alleviate all your concerns because you don't need any money if you agree to what their terms would be, and that would be based on the savings, exactly what our money is put on the board. We would share with them all my work and we would say, this is what we're thinking. This was the meeting. We'd have the meeting. What solutions could you provide? This is not the only time this situation ever happened. This happens all the time. That's why they invented the PPA, because it takes all the ability, or the net need for the money to come out of anybody's pocket, and it solves the power. So there would be a savings. It wouldn't be sane. It would be a little baby savings. It would be whatever they're suggesting. And then they would get all the benefits.
even if we wanted to do that, that would still be both boards have to decide that. That's not.
Yeah, this board would have to basically approve it, which is more or less your recommendation to the town and city to then approve it from there. As far as
what I'm trying to avoid at all costs is that we have 2 motors burned out on the high lifts and we don't have enough production. And those motors, they don't sell it to you at Home Depot. You have to wait months to get.
I know, but unfortunately, we have procedures that we have to follow. And if that was the problem, we should have known about that a long time ago if we needed those motors. Like that should be first thing on the capital plan. And it's not.
I mean, we know how old all the motors are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something surprising.
It's a run.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
old is this
Yeah.
plant? How many things we need to replace? It's nothing surprising here. So we're trying to do what we can do at the moment, financially, and for me, I understand the administrative part, but seems to be really critical. And the last thing I want to ask about technical is it's going to be like a one main hookup, or we need to do more wiring.
No. It's for the VFDs, for the
Uh-huh.
variables, it's gonna be the same connection that you currently have with the same direct motor that you have there,
Right.
and you're just gonna replace that.
No, but there's 3 hookups,
No,
right? For
I'm
this.
talking about for the
The
VFD.
I'm talking about,
Just go inside.
understood.
It's almost like a clutch, so.
But the
No, the
BESS,
That's the brain of the pump.
It's in the front of the pump.
Okay.
There's
So-
two connections on there.
there's
Two is numbered. I didn't do the third one.
I thought there was 3 here.
There's 3 batteries, but on the low lift side, I have 2.
2 on the low lift, 1 on the high lift.
Yeah, they didn't have a perfect size for your needs, so I had a double.
Double it.
battery.
But I'm still, it's multiple locations. Yeah. Okay.
Well, for the to answer your question, for the VFDs, you have already in existence 3-phase coming in and feed a direct drive. Instead of direct drive, you're gonna have a variable frequency drive there. So that part gets eliminated. You put a new box with all the electronics to make the motor speed up slowly and get to the speed that you want. Then you can change it. The operator can go and say, I don't need to produce 11 million. I can go 6 million. And the other mistake they make in the engineering when they did the upgrade in the low lift, they did not match the high lift's production. They do not match the intermediate production. So we have a problem right now in the low lift. If one pump goes bad, we don't have a spare. There is nothing to go to. If 2 pumps goes down, you cannot produce enough water to fill your tanks.
We had similar situation.
We did have 1 pump down and we
Yeah.
operated fine, and we have one that's that's been band-aid, so we can operate, and as best as we can. And that is like a worst case scenario type of situation,
Right.
but we are able to function with one down. It's not ideal, and it depends maybe which one, because they are different types of pumps and what they're able to do, but.
What's our next step?
I think our next step is that I email you these, you can take them with you, but I'll email them so you have them and review it, and we can communicate, I guess. Erin and I will talk about what she thinks about these, and we'll come back with some more information in the next meeting.
I also just realized that something that's really key for you guys understanding who does this for you guys. We insure everything. We insure the clawbacks on the IT sales, the tax investor, and we also insure the warranties. So this battery assembly, I think we're putting $456,000 with the insurance company. So it's the life of the battery. It's 100% operation maintenance. No matter what goes wrong with the battery, it's 100% taken care of. And even if the EPC goes out of business, even if the battery comes out as a business, the insurance company is paying for it. And it's an A-rated New York State insured company, so that's a really hard thing to get accomplished. And that's, no matter what you do, that's what I suggest you do, insure it so that nobody knows what's going to happen with these things in 10 years, 15 years from now. But we're using maximum warranties and insurance costs to cover that. No matter which way you go, I think that's important, because when I go to school for this stuff, in the field, the cells, the packs, and the modules, when the cell dies in a strain, it reduces the voltage. And then what happens is the battery degrades faster than it should. If nobody's taking care of that and balancing every 6 months, the battery doesn't last as long as it should. So you want that insured.
Let them take care of it.
Right. And so you have to do nothing. It's all turnkey. And the companies we're using right now is Munich, RE, and another big company. So they're A-rated, A+ rated, they insure everything. And you know, you'd ask me to, I'm just going to inquire when I leave here for the next couple of weeks. I'll call Schneider and talk to them about what they would do in this particular situation and what we possibly do to save harbor the ITCs, because you gotta take time and money out of the equation. If you're pressed for time, you won't make a decision. If you're pressed for money, you won't get a decision. So we gotta remove that if it's possible. And that way you have plenty of time. 4 years is plenty of time. A couple of months is not plenty of time. So that's what I'm gonna work on for you guys. I'm gonna see if there's a way we can legally safe harbor this under some type of PPA or something. We can always change it as long as we safe harbor it, we're good.
In the lifetime of a battery, you would say 10 years?
This company is 15 years, but we made a deal with the insurance company 20 years. We're paying for a 20-year warranty. You want it for the life of the loan. The loan that I gave here, I assumed that you guys had no money. So some credit is gonna not lien the property, you're gonna lien the equipment, and for the life of the loan at $139,000 a year, they have a lien on the equipment, and it doesn't affect any other finance, it doesn't affect the property. So we get all the incentives, 80%, the balance goes to Sunstone, it's not, and we get this done quick. But I like the direct pay if we could do that, if you were gonna own it, because that's the most money, it's more profitable that way.
I was talking about the direct pay IRS.
Right, when we're selling off the ITCs, they're transferable, and then same with the 100% depreciation. Even if you don't have any tax write-off, if you're allowed to file it with the IRS and get that money 100%, I've seen nonprofits do that. I didn't think you were a nonprofit though. Are you guys not?
Municipalities are allowed to do direct pay.
Then it would work. I don't have any experience with that though.
Municipalities just have to file their taxes with the IRS and say that we are going, since we're going to do an energy generation thing, we're gonna capitalize on it. That's what helps be on climate smart task force. That's stuff.
You guys would also get the renewable energy credits, which is illegal too. It's not insignificant, but there's money that comes for, it's $37 per metric ton. I don't know how many thousands of metric tons it's a year, but it would be considerable. It depends on how much we're generating out there, based on the funds. Hey, thank you for listening. And I'm gonna work with our money still, and we'll see if we can save harbor, so we can take the time and the money out of the equation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I would like to suggest that also as this month goes on, I don't know if it's past the scope of what they can do, but if we could have them come and present to the city comptroller and the town comptroller just to get, I mean, we can go a little slower, if it's the number is.
Well, my
Is that-
main objective, it would be the VFDs for the motor.
Sure.
And the rest of the stuff is nice, and that's money that comes free from the government. If we don't use it, well, it's okay.
And the reason I suggest that is that everybody who has a stake in this situation could be thinking in the same month of having introduced to everybody, because what seems to happen here is we look at it, another month the city looks at it, and another month the town looks at it, and that's one of the reasons why everything takes 6 months to
Right.
sign a document, so.
I do make jokes about it, that if I give something to Randy, I see the project maybe a year and a half after I get the information. And it's a little frustrating.
Year and a half.
However, it's been cases where, hey, we need to change the blower, we need to change the blower, we need to change the motor for the blower, we need to change the VFD.
And I know,
Oh, fire, burned out, okay, emergency, now where we get the money? We're still getting the money,
and I know,
but now it's not $1, now it's hundreds of $50 more.
and I know how frustrating that process is, and I know how frustrating it is to not have money, but in the end, we are responsible for the health of the water of the community. So when you think about those terms, you're like, oh, worst case scenario, if that worst case scenario ever happens, we're responsible. We're the board that protects the fresh water for a multitude of municipalities.
Yeah, and my fault is I take ownership, so whatever I put here, I wanna make sure I have redundancy, I have enough materials, and I have enough communication, enough products, so it will work with a high quality.
And I just want to touch base too about that worst case scenario. There are possibilities of things that can help us get out of that jam if we are down to pumps, like just because that was mentioned.
Yeah.
We do have contingencies of what we can do, if need be. And they may not be ideal, but things that we can get through.
But it feels like we have been limping along with power There's almost
Yes.
every month you tell us that.
Yes, power is an issue. That is definitely needs to be
There's
addressed.
rules equipment and that
Yes.
we're just band-aided, right? We're band-aided.
I mean, yeah, that's the point, right? Over the time, we are saving the taxpayers' money. This is something initiative, like I'm not rushing to do it in July, but this is something,
Comes from the comprehensive plan.
yes, or even before separate, or if that's what
Project.
it's possible.
And the first step is to do the retaps.
I think Dan,
Lawsuits, they do that.
Danny, sorry, yep, you're muted. Do you have a question?
No, I was just listening.
And I feel like, we put together the financial, return on investment. That's where we can, I mean, the technical part is one thing, and the board and the administrative part, that's what they can see, when the people can see, hey, what's really going on, if we can simplify and show them. And I think it's,
Like a pro forma,
yes.
yeah, something like that.
Will this plan come back with $100 million tag on it saying you need a whole new plan?
I mean, it's
And $8 million is peanuts.
That's
At that
what it is.
point.
That's what the whole point of this comprehensive plan is. But we put so much stuff into it to figure it all out. These are puzzle pieces to it.
I mean, we.
Yes.
But I mean,
This is something we're talking about 2030 or so on. That's, we are looking at our population and all, right?
Yeah.
So what my point is right now, regardless what they presented, this module, even if we have another plan, this is something you can move it. We are not throwing it away.
no.
So this is something got to be done apart from the comprehensive plan, or it can be part of it.
All together.
When it's a brand new plan, I will be not forcing you, but trying to make sure that your new voltage and the new plan and the new transformer, they're built for, to grow now.
Aaron, what do you think the timeline is going to be for, I mean, obviously we've got to pick an engineering firm that we want to use to do this study. By the time they get their stuff together, what do you think? A year,
Oh, yeah.
solid year and a half before it's like, hey guys, here's a product for you.
Here's your playbook.
I mean, you'll have a million things in between, but before you actually get a final of what.
Because remember, we're starting from looking at flows, like what is your demand? What is the projection with that? Not just based on a population curve, which,
What's the size of your pipe? They're gonna start there, like, they got a lot of stuff to do.
Well, how long did the B&L study take? Because this one's going to be much more thorough. So, I mean, that might.
yeah, it's just literally.
Yeah, but they were only, that was a few months. They were 6 months, maybe 5 months,
And they didn't.
maybe
But very right.
the week before they turned it in.
What?
Pretty much.
They feel like they didn't start, they didn't start actually having conversations with, some of those.
Yeah, but this plan, it's like, they're gonna look at everything. It's good.
One thing I want to say to the demand, which I have nothing to do with the production of the water, I'll be honest with you. But one thing on the demand that I've been looking at the graphics and looking at the demands of the pumps and all that. What I think they should look at it is to start looking leaks in the city and the distribution part
They
of it.
do that.
To ensure that it's not
They hire a contractor to come in.
how much
Go for
water you
They
actually
do that
dumping on the.
every year.
Yeah, they do have a contractor come in that pinpoints all their leaks and their crews go out and do it. It's like we go through our whole system and go through all ours, the ones that don't come up. So you have an active leak detection program goes on in both municipalities.
In city of Poughkeepsie as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
City and the town
Yeah.
detection. Awesome. So,
Anything else?
no, I think that's it.
Make a motion to end the meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye. All right.
Okay, I can sit right there.
Do something, I see New York City.